Hello, this video is to show you how to use the StatCrunch Normal Calculator, especially for Homework 1 for Stat 202. So let's say you have StatCrunch open and you go to the StatCrunch Normal Calculator. It's set as default with a mean of 0 and standard deviation of 1, and you have a drop-down menu here, and you have two boxes you can control or ask for computations on, and you also have two options whether you want the standard or between view. So I'll show you a couple examples of each. So let's say you have a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 17, and you want to know the probability that x is less than 105. You hit compute and it'll give you the answer. Great. What if you want to know the threshold at which, let's say, 85% of the values fall? So then you put the probability over in this probability box and you compute, and it will tell you the threshold. So of course you can flip this guy around and do things like this. You can say probability that x is greater than, say, 90. Probability that x is less than 90. So you can play around with that. Okay, you can also look at the between option, and this is very useful. For example, if you say a mean of 100, standard deviation of 25, and you're asked to estimate where the middle 80% is, for example. Okay, so here's how you would handle something like this. You could say, well, I don't know where the middle 80% is going to be, but I'm going to look for 40% that goes between the mean and higher. So I'm going to say, so half of that is 40, so half of 80 is 40. I'm going to say compute, and it's going to conveniently tell me that between 100 and 132 point whatever, I get 40% of the data. Okay, great. And then I can easily put the 100 over here, and then again put 40% over here and compute. It'll give me the lower endpoint, and then those two endpoints together will comprise the middle 80% of my data. So that's a cool trick. Those will be useful for you in your homework. And I want to show you one more trick for homework 5 that isn't with the normal calculator, and that's, I'm going to just import a data set. It's a abbreviated file, so the data will look familiar, but it's not the data set you think it is, because it's only some random half of it or something, because I don't want the answers to be the same. Let's try loading that. Okay, so I have here 30 data points, and I want to know how many or what percent are, let's say, above 103. Now I can tell you I can subtract, but if they're not sorted, I can go like this. I can say data, compute expression. I can say var1 is less than 103, optional column label if I want it. And then I get trues and falses. And unfortunately, there's not too much I can do with trues and falses, but I can do the following. I can do a nice pie chart with data on Q, and that very easily tells me that I have a certain count on the number of trues and falses, and it gives me the percent. That's a pretty straightforward way. It's just way easier than counting them, especially if they're not sorted. If they're sorted, that's fine, and of course you could sort them. But I just wanted to give you another option for that, because there's a question where that'll save you a little effort. So, hope those tips are useful.